How do you checkmate your opponent in the middle of the board? How do you win in 11 moves? How do you win your opponent's queen and rook? Let me show you. If you want to increase your chess rating by 50 points, this video is for you. Welcome to a chess rating climb, where we go from 750 to 800 in this one video. All games are 5 minutes each, filmed live on Chess. I talk and play at the same time. Let's go. Knight f3. Knight f6, g3. I control this, he controls this. Couple of knights, good. Once again, they're going for e5, so we stop it once again. d5, bishop g2. Sensible. 5 moves, guys. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are safe. Early knight in the center. Not to worry. Let's just castle. e5. Wow. Maybe my opponent has missed the fact that I am attacking it twice, and then my opponent has got only 1 on it. So that's why I'm noticing at this level, by move 5, by move 10, my opponents are chucking a pawn, a piece. So let's just take it. Now a good way to take might be with the knight or the pawn. Let's play knight. Take, take. Knight e7. Wow, retreating like that, did not expect that. My opponent really doesn't want to trade. Here we go again. Let's break open the center because I want my beautiful bishop in the game, and we tend to play c4, challenging the center. He can't take because his knight is hanging. Let's see if he falls for that. A good move is c6, just to defend. And he fell for it, so that's why I'm noticing. Now the knight drops. By the way, a normal move, which we saw in the first video, is queen a4 check, just to pick up the pawn. But because he's moved his knight, now I can take it. It's move 8, I'm up a knight. Knight g6, offering a trade. So I can take and then take, and I am up a piece, so that's what would normally happen. But I'm going to throw in that tactic, that check that I showed, because you can also apply this in your own games. Queen a4 check, and then we can pick up the pawn. He has to block with the pawn or the bishop, and then I can take. If he blocks with the bishop, I might even take because I'm winning. So it's a good strategy, just keep trading. So he blocks with the queen, fair enough, and now I can get my pawn back. I can keep my knight in the center because I can take that with my pawn, so then it's further advanced. Also, by the way, I'm threatening checkmate all of a sudden, which is really funny. Didn't expect that. Knight and queen are hitting f7. If he falls for it, that would be great. That's just good content. So I expect him to get rid of my dangerous knight, or he might play bishop e6 to attack the queen, and then I'll just retreat somewhere. f6, and here we go. Brilliant. 11 moves, guys. That's pretty cool. Checkmate on f7. 759 plus 8 is 767. Let's go. d4, knight f6. Controlling e4. Bishop f4, g6. Bishop g7. Here we go again. 1, 2, 3, and we are safe. It is a very nice way to play. That's why I'm mentioning it in this rating climb. Bishop out to d3, d6. Pawns on dark squares. Here we go again. 1, 2. My opponent has played the knight to the edge, which is very surprising. Normally, you want to put the knight in the center. Now, because my opponent has played a knight to the edge, this is a good strategy. Just damage your opponent's structure. Take it. Got to take back. Now we got really weak pawns, and king is going to be weak. Now, let's get our pieces out. A couple of pawn breaks here or here. I don't know which one to play at the moment, so I'll go knight c6, because this means now I can play e5. Queen c2, my opponent is facing my light squared pawns, but I've got a triangle here. Actually, that's the interesting thing. I've just thought of this. I've got a triangle here and here. I've got two triangles within my structure where my pawns defend each other. I've never actually thought of that. It's only by explaining that this idea has come to my mind. e5, let's strike in the center. If take, I can take back, which is great because then he doesn't have a center pawn. Bishop g3, good move. Now I can put pressure on that pawn. I'll actually go queen d7. Normally you don't get this option because normally my opponents don't weaken their king. Right, the game goes on. Now I'm going to set up a tactic with rook e8, facing the king. Because now I can take and then take using the pin on the e file, and he's fallen for it. Great. So what I've noticed is at this level I'm setting up a tactic by winning a pawn, winning a piece, and they've fallen for it. Take. And you take back with a pawn, and then we can come in. We can go for that one. By the way, knight b4 was another option to actually win the bishop, but I'd rather get a pawn. Queen c3. This looks really good for me because this bishop is now facing the queen indirectly. Now here I can play a really fancy move like knight d5 because the queen can't take the knight because I take it. But then he goes queen c4, so I don't really need to be fancy. You know what, to be sensible, I'm just going to retreat it because I'm now setting up a discovered attack with the knight. Just going anyway. Can't go h5 because I take it. Right, now can I play a very dangerous knight move? Let me have a think. This move looks good. Let's just get the knight in the middle. Double attack. I attack the queen with the knight and the bishop. Now to be sneaky in your own games, if I just go back here, you can play knight h5 instead because your opponent might not see the bishop attacks the queen. But after knight e4, the knight is attacking the queen twice, so it's very likely your opponent will move their queen. And that's what happens. I can defend my knight, or I can actually play knight b4, which is the move I mentioned a few minutes ago. Attacking the queen bishop, so let's go for that. Nice fork there. Queen c4, right. Let's just be sensible, let's just grab it. Check. Now I can take on b2. I don't see why not. Let's grab the pawn and then we come back. We can actually come back with a check, which is very effective. Let's take the pawn. You can see the King's Indian bishop is just so powerful. Rook b1, and now normally if you're not sure you just retreat the bishop all the way back to g7. Let's throw in a check. Now you can't castle. Defended by the knight, which is defended by the rook, and my opponent hasn't seen it. So now I just take his queen. Put the knight back in the center, or I can take the pawn. Or that pawn, it doesn't need to be grabbed, so I'll just drop the knight back. You can take this one, but I can come out and grab stuff. But I'm winning, so let's just offer a trade. Rook b8. The rook cannot go anywhere. I'm up a queen, just like in the previous game, so let's offer a trade. Rook b3. So yeah, let's just take it. And then I'll get my queen in the game. I don't see why not. With a move like this, you're stopping white castling. I'm controlling d2. If I can get my rook in the game, I'll be winning. So yeah, there's going to be a checkmating pattern soon. Let's just get the queen right in. By the way, I'm threatening a check, but more importantly, I'm threatening a check here to win the rook. So nice geometry from the queen, you could say. The queen went up, here, in, here, and then it can take the rook. So a nice journey there. By the way, that bishop hasn't done anything all game. Another option, his knight is placed in the center, you can attack it with c5. Get the rook in the game as well. Run this pawn up the board if you want. Okay, now I can pick it up. Check, check, and then take the knight is good as well. Well, actually check and then, yeah, let's just pick up the rook in the corner. Looks good to me. Picking up on h1. So pretty cool. In this game, using tactics, I've won the queen and the rook. And the knight as well. I've got 41 seconds, but that is plenty of time for me. Let's just be sensible. Let's get our... Well, let's just take it, really. Yeah, let's just drop it back. I'm going to take that pawn and then clean up. Go for a ladder, mate. Yeah, queen here, and then really the rook is just going to come here, and then that will be checkmate. 767 plus 9 is 776. Let's go. g3, d5, bishop g2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. Castle. Bishop d6, once again going for this, so let's control that square twice. We are playing an 826. c5, striking in the center. Now I can take, and then it's like they wasted a move because the bishop is there. Or I can strike in the center with c4, which I've spoken about almost all the time. So I'm actually going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it, mate. 5 to 6 moves. We are good. Now we are in a position called the Catalan. A lot of central tension. With this capture, I've mentioned this before, but we can always play a check to get it back. That's one way to react. So that's what I'm going to do. What I am teaching in this video is exactly what I will play in a real game. And my opponent has blundered because after recapturing, then I'm on this pawn as well. My opponent actually has a move like queen c7 to pin me on the c file, so let's see if they find it. b5, didn't see that, but not to worry because I can just move the queen out the way. I can't take this because of the bishop, so I can go queen d4, so then it's still defense, and I actually attack the bishop twice. I can actually retreat the queen all the way back, but I'm actually going to go for this one. He can't go knight here because I take, and that's exactly what happens. We are move 10 and my opponent has blundered a pawn and a bishop. Let's go. By the way, this bishop is open for business. This diagonal is open. e4. Move the knight away and then we're in. I can go knight d4. Looks good. Knight here means I'm also threatening c6 as well. I'm going to continue playing good moves. Knight here, bishop here, and here we go again. We see this pattern. My opponent has forgotten the long range piece, and we can take the rook in the corner. So that's what I suggest you do in your own games. Put a bishop on g2. So then you can take the guy's rook. If you're not sure what to do, I've said this before, you can just retreat your bishop. Just bring it all the way back. My opponent is attacking this spot, so I might actually take the pawn first. I don't need to. I can just get rid of this tension. So I think because my opponent only has one threat, I've got bishop, I might as well just take it. Bishop c6. I'm completely winning, and I'm going to go with my golden rule once again. Let's just trade queens. By the way, my bishop can actually take his bishop, but we'll get the queens off first. Why not? and then we can actually take this. The funny thing is, if capture, I can actually take back, so we are good. Rook c8, knight e7 check actually picks up the rook. So that's pretty cool. In this game, just like in previous games, I've won both of my opponent's rooks. So that's the pattern I'm noticing in these against these players. And that's what I suggest you do in your own games. Play like this. Let's go pawn grabbing. Let's take another one as well. Do I need to take this, or I can just get a queen? Why not? Let's just run it down the board. My opponent wants to come here, so I'm actually going to control that square with a bishop. So I'm going to go here, and then c7 is next. But just to be instructive, let's put the rook on the open file, because I can actually get a queen. My opponent has forgotten. The bishop can just take it. So I'm just going to come back now and then get a queen. And that's what you should do in your own games if you're afraid, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to drop the bishop back. You can take the knight. I mean, who cares? I'm going to get a queen. So let's just go here. And now get a queen. Let's throw in a check first. Why not? And then we can get a queen, and that is checkmate. So that's pretty cool. Checkmate on the back. Bishop covers the squares. Knight covers the exit square. We're good. 776 plus 13 is 789. d4, knight f6. e3, g6. Here we go again. Castle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. d6. Let's go. Here, here. Pretty cool, actually. My opponent knows what they are doing. This is called a double fianchetto, where you put your bishops on these squares. Just slicing the board, you could say. Now I can strike in the center with a move like e5, and I'm going to do that because it actually sets up a very nice tactic. If you take, I can play a move like knight g4. So I'm actually going to put pressure in the center. See if my opponent captures, and then I can move my knight. a3, perhaps planning to get space. I can play a move like a5 to stop that. I can go rook e8 as well. So let's just play a good move. Rook in the center. f3. Not a good move because it blocks the bishop in. Just like if white played c3 blocking in the bishop, that is not a good move. So now, can I strike? Because if I take, the king is still in the middle. Really, you've got to get your king safe. So I can capture. And if I capture, if you take with a knight, I can actually take with check. So my opponent might have blundered. By the way, another nice option all of a sudden is this really strange move. The bishop can actually sneak out to attack the pawn, because the pawn has moved one square. Just like that. So that's actually a very interesting option. But let's just play a good move. Oh dear. King f2. Now I can take with check. Yeah, check, and then I could actually play a very fancy move. You know what? I think I'm going to do it because I want this to be very instructive. Knight g4 check. If take, I can take with check. The king moves, and then I can take the bishop. So because I want this to be as high value as possible, I think I'm going to go for that tactical shot. Check. Take. Now check. Opening up the bishop. Let's grab that, attacking the rook. And it's checkmate very soon. Oh! Well, now I can grab the rook. And where's checkmate? I mean, the king, look at that king. That is one exposed king. I can go queen f6 check. That's basically checkmate. So let's go for that. Check. There's only one move, which is to block with the knight. But then I can play this really, really nice checkmate, knight in the middle. And the king is just totally boxed in. Can't go there because of the pawn. The check is given, it can't come here as well, and it can't come out because of the rook. So that's a very sweet looking checkmate. I've never played a mate like that. Or squares covered. 789 plus 13 is 802. Do you guys want to see another rating climb from 800 to 900? Then let me know in the comments below. Give this video a like if you found the content useful. It really does help me out. Thanks for watching.